tips for Hamburg. With just under 2 million inhabitants, the free and Hanseatic city of Hamburg is Germany's second largest city. Unlike Berliners, however, most Hamburgers would probably not claim to live in a cosmopolitan city. With Hanseatic understatement, they are content to be northern Germany's #1 and, after all, the gateway to the world. This mixture of relaxed cosmopolitanism, diverse attractions and provincial manageability, which combines both modest and pompous elements, is what gives Hamburg its special charm for many visitors. In any case, there is much to see and experience on the Elbe and Alster, and for every taste. Harbour tour. Hamburg's importance as a business location has been closely linked to the port for centuries. Although Hamburg's port area of about 7 square kilometers lies more than 100 kilometers from the North Sea, the foundation for its wealth as a pepper sack city was laid by maritime trade via the Lower Elbe. The depth of the Lower Elbe leading to the sea, which can cope with the drafts of even oversized container ships or giant passenger cruises, makes Hamburg's position as Germany's most important overseas port possible. Whether inexpensive at local transport rates when crossing the Elbe or more time-consuming with one of the numerous harbour tour barges departing from the St. Pauli landing bridges, a tour of Hamburg's economic and historical heart is almost mandatory on any visit to the city. Visitors can immerse themselves in the world of sea-oriented commerce on a round trip through harbour arms and canals, past shipyards and container terminals, while being whimsically provided by the barge guide with mostly well-thought-out Donches, an original Low German term for a smaller, usually cheerful, fictitious story or actual anecdote from everyday life, and serious information. Museum ships. Come aboard and become captain. A harbour tour can easily be combined with a visit to Hamburg's largest museum ships to create an overall maritime experience. At the St. Pauli landing bridges, not far from the Old Elbe Tunnel, which is also worth seeing, and walking through, 2 legendary ships invite not only die-hard shiplovers to get to know them, the Cap San Diego and the Rickmas. The 160-meter Cap San Diego was launched in 1961 not far from its current berth at the German shipyard and is a veteran of the now almost extinct general cargo shipping industry. Active on South American routes until 1986, the ship was saved from scrapping and is now considered the world's largest operational museum freighter. From time to time, the Cap San Diego still sets sail for small cruises. The Cap San Diego's neat neighbor, the 97-meter-long 3-masted bark Rickmas, was launched in 1896. The cargo ship transported coal and saltpeter and served the Portuguese Navy as a training ship from 1924 to 1962. Warehouse City and Harbour City. While you're in the port area, which is only about a kilometer from the city center, it's worth taking a stroll through the historic warehouse complex of Warehouse City, which was built 150 years ago. Here, carpets, spices and other special goods are still stored according to time-honored methods. But there are also cultural and tourist attractions to keep you entertained and informed. For example, the Warehouse City Museum, the creepy Hamburg Dungeon, the German Customs Museum, the Miniature Wonderland and the Spice Museum. A stone's throw from the Warehouse City, Hamburg's very latest attraction rises up in the midst of the brand new and architecturally not uncontroversial Harbour City district, the Elbphilharmonie Concert Hall, inaugurated in 2016 after a 10-year construction period that was heavily criticized, mainly because of the exorbitantly increased costs. Towering 110 meters above the Quaiderspitze, literally, come back again tip, the Elfi is an innovative concert hall. A highly recommended tour of the publicly accessible viewing area, Plaza, allows spectacular views of the harbour and city from a height of 37 meters. Övelgönne. Here the people of Hamburg let their souls dangle. Especially on sunny days, Hamburgers like to take a trip to Övelgönne, a section of the Elbe beach that belongs to the upscale western district of Othmarschen. Here, the kilometer-long sandy beach and the beach bar, Strandpearl, give you that beach feeling. Most day trippers just sunbathe. But some brave ones actually bathe in the river tides within sight of container terminals towering on the other side of the Elbe. In addition to the beach, a floating crane, a lightship and several other ship sites can be boarded in the museum harbour. About 2 kilometers upstream from the Elbe, the popular Hamburg Fish Market, known far beyond Hamburg's borders, is held every Sunday morning around the Altona Fish Auction Hall. Here it is also still about weekly market and fish sales, but above all last weekend nightcaps, music, fun and curiosities are in the center of interest of the colorful public. Parks. Hamburg's green lungs. The Hanseatic City is famous for its many green spaces, usually combined with water areas. There is probably no other city of this size where people tired of street noise and city buildings can quickly switch off to nature in so many parks. With 150 hectares, Hamburg's largest park is the City Park in Winterhude. A visit to the planetarium is a must here. Almost as large as the wooded Niendorfer Gehege enclosure. In the middle of the city center, near the Damte train station, the grounds of the Planten und Blumen green space cover almost 50 hectares. An insider tip is the Island Park, 100 hectares, in the Wilhelmsburg district, which is often unjustly classified by the general public as not worth visiting because of its remote location south of the Elbe and its social problems. A Hamburg green lung of a special kind is the Ohlsdorf Cemetery. With almost 400 hectares, twice the size of the Principality of Monaco, Ohlsdorf is the world's largest park cemetery. We recommend taking a guided tour of this last resting place, which is highly interesting in terms of cultural and horticultural history. Reeperbahn, world-famous dirty and fun mile. Of course, almost every visitor to Hamburg wants to walk at least once over the Reeperbahn in St. Pauli, notorious as the sinful mile. This also includes similarly maligned side streets such as Hamburger Berg, Grossfreiheit, Herbertstraße or Silbersackstraße. Here, many evening and night strollers are attracted by the peculiar juxtaposition of tourist business and actual or alleged criminal milieu. The Reeperbahn, which is just under a kilometer long, is Hamburg's most important district for street prostitution, which is steadily declining. Around it, however, an economically much more important range of pubs, bars, clubs and stages such as the Operettenhaus or Schmitz Tivoli has developed. The chance of getting into an unpleasant situation on the Reeperbahn before the offices of the famous David police station can intervene is not excluded, especially after midnight, because of the immense alcohol consumption of parts of the visitors. However, if certain rules of conduct are observed, this risk is hardly greater than at fire department festivals in any provincial region in Germany. Dom, giant folk festival 3 times a year. The origin of this name goes back to a market hustle and bustle held regularly in the inner city Hamburg Cathedral. After the demolition of the cathedral in 1804, the name was transferred after a transitional period to the market on the Heiligengeistfeld, Holy Spirit Field, in St. Pauli. After the end of the Second World War, this developed into the folk festival called Hamburger Dom, which is celebrated 3 times a year for 4 weeks at a time: Spring Dom, March, April, Hummelfest, Summer Dom, July, August, and Winter Dom, November, December. Germany's longest-running public festival is held on the Heiligengeistfeld open-air site at the Feldstrasse subway station, which is dominated by the imposing structure of a huge World War II flak bunker, and attracts some 10 million visitors every year. Right next to the Heiligengeistfeld in the Millerntor Stadium, a somewhat different Bundesliga soccer club has its home, FC St. Pauli, known for cultivating alternative left-wing fan culture. An afternoon in the fan block of the Kies district, Kickers at a home game usually promises exuberant soccer merriment, even during the not uncommon Pauli defeats. Hamburg's high culture, theater, opera and museums. Every year, millions of visitors are drawn to the not-at-all dusty temples of Hamburg's high culture. The Hamburg State Opera, the Thalia-Theater, and the Deutsches Schauspielhaus, German theater, are all world-class theaters. The Ohnsorg Theater, which cultivates the Low German language, is especially Hamburgian. Among the museums, the Museum of Art and Crafts, the Museum of Hamburg History, Hamburg Museum, the Art Hall, known for its exquisite paintings, and the Museum of Ethnology, stand out. Hamburg City, Alster, City Hall and Mönckebergstraße. A well-rounded visit to Hamburg also includes a shopping stroll through the shopping area in the city center, which runs between the neo-Renaissance style, 19th century, civic pride large city hall and the main train station. Especially in the Mönckebergstraße and Spitalerstraße large sales are made. The Binnenalster, 20 hectares, which has been dammed up to form a lake, is an attractive part of this city area and spreads a noble flair. The Alsterwanderweg, Alster hiking trail, a circular route around the outer Alster, 165 hectares, bordered by the upscale districts of Rotherboom and Harvesterhude, is a great way to recharge your batteries. Culinary delights for every palate. Cosmopolitan Hamburg has hundreds of recommendable restaurants of German and foreign cuisine. In the Portuguese Quarter near the Landungsbrücken subway station, for example, fish and meat specialties from Portuguese cuisine can be enjoyed excellently and inexpensively. For the gourmet who wants to spend a little more, there are a good dozen-star restaurants such as the Herlen in the Alster Hotel, Vier Jahrezetten, or Jacob's Restaurant in Nienstetten. Good timing is a prerequisite for out-of-towners to experience a Hamburg fish speciality. Only for a few weeks in March can the small fish smelt, which comes from the North Sea, be caught during its spawning migration in Hamburg's Upper Elbe. The smelt, which then appears on the plate baked in flour, especially in a few down-to-earth restaurants in the east of Hamburg, is a culinary revelation.